and Hadoram, and Uzal, and Tekla, and Abal, Abimael, and Sheba, and Ophir, and Havilah, and Jubab. All these were the sons of Joktan. Now their settled extended from Mesha as you go towards Shephar, the hill country of the east. These are the sons of Shem, according to their families, according to their language, by their land, according to their nations. These are the families of the sons of Noah, according to their genealogies by the nations. And out of this, the nations were separated on the earth after the flood. So honestly, when I read that, wow, what is my message? But honestly, there is a message. But I opt not to go that route because it's just explaining them. But the main point of Genesis chapter 10 was the blessings of God continued. Right? Be fruitful and multiply. Despite just having 3 kids, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, their race grew and multiplied. And this is basically the family tree. And if you note there, all the names were 70. And so therefore, it is not the complete list. It was just the list that was given to show completeness in the spreading of humanity and mankind. So chapter 10 is called the Table of Nations. So anywhere in the world should be and could be traced supposedly with this Table of Nations. So wala lang, pinapakita lang dyan where they were located. Where they were located. Now the thing here is chapter 10, if you notice, people had languages already. Yet it was in chapter 11, you see that they had one language and God dispersed them, giving them different language. And the answer then is, this is what happened after chapter 11. So what happened in chapter 10, this is what's happening, and it came to be because of what happened in chapter 11. Because people say, but may mga languages na? Why are they spread out already? It's because of what happened in chapter 11. You got it? That's the explanation out there. So basically, we're looking at chapter 11, verse 1 to 9. Then you note here in Genesis chapter 11, verse 1 and 2, it says, Now the whole earth used the same language and the same word. When you say the same language and the same word, what that means is they were literally having one lip. So they had one lip, and the same word is same speech. So the people at that time were unified in their lips, in their language, and in their speech. And what that says is that how they think, how they act, how they speak, their same language, their same lingo, shows that they, if you hang out with a group of gangsters, they have their own lingo, right? They have their own English. Which means what? They think the same. Their vocabulary, you go to London, they speak English, but it's a different English. Right? Their vocabulary is different. Their mindset is different. So when they say they were speaking the same language and the same word, basically their thinking is the same. In fact, their expression is the same. Their mindset is the same. And it says here that it came about as they journey east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there. As they journey, the word journey there means pulled up stake, Because, as I showed you last week, they were living in tents, and normally they would move from. Remember, they were in the wilderness when this was written. So that's very common. They pull up their stakes of their tent and they move on. And once they go to their next edition, then they will put down again their stakes and put up again their tents and settle there for a while the animal would graze. Pag naubos yung graze, they would then put up the tents. And so here they put up their stakes. And what? They found a place in the land of Shemar, and what? They settled there. Here we see there's something wrong already. Why? Because God didn't want them to settle. God wanted them to what? Go forth. And yet they decided to settle at a plain. Now, I took the liberty in graphing this to show you what the author intended to show. Because sometimes when we read it in English, we fail to see the point that is being made because the English grammar does not show it. So we saw in verse 1, the whole world had what? One language. In verse 2, they settled there. And here, mankind was trying to progress based on his plans. Now, Shemar is that place. It is the modern day Iraq now. It's also Babylon. Verse 3, it says, they said to one another, come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly. And they used bricks for stones, and they used tar for mortar. It says, come, let us. That wording there is very willful. When they said, come, let us, that was a willful resolve. They were resolved to do something. They would want to make bricks and burn them thoroughly. And they used bricks for stones, and they used tar for mortar. Common folks at that time, they don't use bricks kasi. They normally use just stones in building. But if they're gonna build something that is very precious, something that they want to endure forever, then they would use bricks. They would make bricks. Not only that, they use tar for mortar. What does that mean? They made the structure also waterproof. That tar for mortar was meant to waterproof the structure. So they want a structure that is strong, that will last forever, and they waterproofed it. Which means what? They're building a structure that is very important for them. Again, as we look at the structure of the story, we see in verse 3, they said to each other, come, let us make bricks. With one language, they are in one accord in their plan. They were in one accord in their conviction of making something that will last forever. Then what do they want to build? That's the question. What's that structure that they want to build to last forever? They said, come, let us build for ourselves a city. Again, they were determined. Come, let us build. Let no one stop us from building this structure. What structure? A city. Now, during that time, cities are not places where you live in. These are not places where you find houses. This is in the southern part of Mesopotamia. And they don't build houses in cities. Normally in cities, what they have there is the temples and the government agencies and the granaries. Right? So, build a city and a tower whose top will reach into the heavens, and let us make for ourselves a name, otherwise we will be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth. Now, what is a tower? They want to make a city, and inside that city is a tower. Typically, when you talk of tower to a Jew, what comes to mind is a defensive tower or a watchtower. But this is not true in Mesopotamia. When you talk about tower in that area during that time, what they want to build was a zurugat. Zugurat. How do you pronounce it? Ziggurat. Sorry for that. Ziggurat. So that is what they wanted to build. They wanted to build a ziggurat. Now, question. What therefore is a ziggurat? Now, if you notice, a ziggurat has a pyramid appearance. And inside the ziggurat, there's nothing inside. There's no room, there's no hollow place. Inside it is just mud bricks packed with dirt. So, kumbaga, that structure is solid. Wala yung mga chamber. Another thing you want to know about the ziggurat is that each ziggurat is dedicated to a particular deity. Now, one ziggurat, let's say this ziggurat is dedicated to Diana. Diana's ziggurat could be here in Alabang. It could have another one in Quezon City. It could have another one in Baguio. So there could be a lot of ziggurat for a deity. And in one town or one city, they could have several ziggurats. One for Diana, one for Nimrod, whatever their deities are. But normally the tallest and the biggest is the deity of that town. Now, during that time, in that area, archaeologists was able to find about 30 structures of ziggurats. If you note, the main feature of the ziggurat is what? What do you notice there? What? Yeah, the stair. The staircase is the main structure of it. Now you will note, and maybe you don't, on top of here, there is a room, a bedroom. There, in that bedroom, there is a bed. And there is food. Here. Also, ziggurat is not used for any rituals. They don't sacrifice here. In fact, it has no human use. But it is only a sacred structure. And on top of it nga is a room. That's why the names of ziggurats are sample names. Temple of the foundation of the heaven and the earth. Temple which links heaven and earth. Temple of the stairways to the pure heaven. So what's the purpose of the ziggurat? The purpose really of a ziggurat was, it is meant to be the stairway of God to go down on earth. So on top is a room so that when God goes, their deity goes down, they can rest first in the room and they can eat, and all along that line going down, there will be some food and refreshment so that the gods could go down and not be tired. So there will be a lot of amenities going down to encourage the god to go down. Typically, beside the Surat ba? Ziggurat.